All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're going to be getting into something that's, well, it might seem a little technical at first glance, but believe me, it's super cool once you wrap your head around it.
Definitely.
We're talking about the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA for short.
Right.
Now, I'm guessing some of you might be thinking, the International Phonetic Alphabet, that sounds kind of dry.
Yeah.
But trust me, it's way more interesting than it might sound.
Yeah, I think so too.
Basically, the IPA is like a secret code that lets you write down the sounds of any language in the world. And that's pretty awesome when you think about it. So to help us decode this linguistic mystery, we've got a real expert with us today.
Well, I don't know about expert, but I'm happy to be here.
So maybe we can just jump right into it then. What exactly is the IPA? Like, what's the big idea behind it?
Well, the main idea is to have a standardized way to represent the sounds of human speech, no matter what language you're talking about.
Okay, so it's like a universal language for sounds. I like that.
Exactly. Because, if you think about it, our regular alphabets, they're not really that great at representing all the sounds we make.
Yeah, that's true. Like, take the letter A, for example.
Right. It can sound like, well, like ah in father,
Uh-huh.
or like cat, like a short A, or even like A in any.
Right. Totally different sounds.
And it gets even more confusing when you start looking at different languages.
Yeah, for sure.
So the IPA comes in and says, hey, let's create a system where each sound has its own unique symbol.
So no more confusion. I like it. So how's this whole thing actually work? I mean, I've seen the IPA chart, and it's pretty intimidating, to be honest, all those weird symbols.
Well, it's actually not as complicated as it looks.
Okay, good.
It's organized based on how we make sounds in our mouths.
So like where we put our tongue and stuff.
Exactly. You've got sections for sounds made with your lips, your teeth, the back of your tongue, your vocal cords. It's like a map of your mouth.
Wow, that's a really cool way to think about it.
Yeah, and each symbol on the chart represents one specific sound. So once you learn the symbols, you can read and write any sound in any language.
That's incredible. So it's like you're saying, if I see a word written IPA, even if I've never heard it before, I could pronounce it perfectly just by looking at those symbols.
Theoretically, yeah.
Wow. Okay, now I'm really starting to see the power of this thing. But it's not just for pronunciation, right?
No, not at all. It's used by linguists, language teachers, speech therapists, you name it.
What kinds of things can they do with it?
Well, linguists use it to document and analyze languages. They can compare sounds across different languages.
Interesting.
They can see how languages have changed over time. They can even try to reconstruct ancient languages that aren't spoken anymore.
That's like linguistic archaeology.
It is. And language teachers can use it to help students with pronunciation, especially when they're learning sounds that don't exist in their native language.
So it's like a superpower for language learners.
It kind of is.
I love it.
And speech therapists use it to identify and treat speech disorders. They can see exactly which sounds a person is having trouble with and target their therapy accordingly.
So it's really a versatile tool then. I mean, it sounds like it has so many applications. But language is always evolving, right? I mean, new
Yes.
words are being created all the time. Slang is always changing.
It is.
Accents shift. So does the IPA ever get updated to keep up with all that?
Yeah, definitely.
It does. Okay.
It's not like it's set in stone. It's a living system, really.
Okay.
As linguists discover new sounds, or as languages change, they add or modify the symbols on the chart.
So it's kind of a never-ending project.
In a way, yeah.
But that makes sense, though, because language is always in flux, not static. It's a living, breathing thing, right?
Exactly. It's constantly evolving.
This is so fascinating. Okay, but I do have one more question. What about technology? Does the IPA play a role in all the digital stuff we use these days?
Oh, absolutely. Big time. Think about voice recognition software, the kind you use to talk to your phone or computer, or those text-to-speech programs that read things aloud to you.
Yeah, yeah.
All of that technology relies on the IPA to some extent. By breaking down speech into its individual phonetic components, they can understand and generate spoken language much more accurately.
Wow. So the IPA is like the hidden engine behind all this technology we use every day.
Yeah, you could say that.
Man, this
Yeah.
has been so eye-opening. I mean,
Mhm.
who knew that something as simple as the sounds we make could be so complex and have such a profound impact on everything, really?
Right, and just think, we've only just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore.
Oh, I believe it.
But hopefully, this has given everyone a good introduction to the world of the IPA and maybe even sparked some curiosity to learn more.
I think so, too. And hey, even if you don't go on to become a full-fledged linguist,
Yeah.
Just knowing a little bit about the IPA can change the way you listen to and understand language. It's like unlocking a whole new level of awareness.
For sure. You start to hear the subtle differences in sounds, the way people pronounce things, the way accents work. It's really quite fascinating.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the International Phonetic Alphabet. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.